Ayun, recording na. Hi guys! So, dito na tayo sa accounts receivable management. Okay? Kung maalala mo, diniscuss natin tong inventory management, no, gamit yung ibang author. Ngayon, balik na tayo dito sa required ebook natin since maganda yung discussion niya dito ng receivable management. Okay? Magbabasa ka rito kasi medyo ma-theory siya. Okay? Pero short lang, siguro 1 hour tapos na natin yung receivable management. Kasi familiar ka na dun sa formulas dito. Okay, simulan na natin. Anong oras na ba? Ayan, tandaan natin oras para tingnan natin kung 1 hour talaga tapos yung discussion. Okay. Okay, chapter 17 pa rin to ng ebook natin, no? Para masusundan mo. 17, tapos yung pa rin, working capital management. Yan, accounts receivable. Although some sales are made for cash, today, the vast majority of sales are on credit. Thus, in the typical situation, goods are shipped, inventories are reduced, and an account receivable is created. Eventually, the customer pays, the firm receives cash, and its receivables decline. The firm's credit policy is the primary determinant of accounts receivable. So, mababanggit dyan yung credit policy, no? Okay, then yan. The credit policy is a key determinant din daw ng sales. So, ano ba kaya itong credit policy na to? So, ito yung unang pag-uusapan sa topic na to. Accounts receivable management. Ano ba tong credit policy na yan? Okay, so puntahan na natin. Credit policy. So, sabi ko nga sa'yo, medyo theoretical yung discussion dito, no? So, kapit lang. Huwag kang aantukin. Okay. Yan, basahin mo lang. Credit policy consists of these 4 variables. Tignan mo yung definition dito, no? A set of rules that include the firm's credit period, discounts, credit standards, and collection procedures offered. So, itong 4 na nabanggit dito, credit period, discounts, credit standards, and collection procedures, yan yung i-discuss isa-isa dito. Okay, so ito na lang yung tingnan natin. Ano-ano ba yung 4 variables na yan? Una dyan, credit period. Alam mo na yan, basahin natin. Is the length of time buyers are given to pay for their purchases. Okay. For example, the credit period might be 30 days. Customers prefer longer credit periods, so lengthening the period will stimulate sales. However, a longer credit period lengthens the cash conversion cycle. Nabanggit ulit dito yung cash conversion cycle. Sana tandaan mo pa yung formula niyan, no? Yan yung inventory conversion period plus average collection period minus payables deferral period. Nakasulat yan sa index cards mo. Balikan mo kung nakalimutan mo na siya. The longer credit period daw lengthens the cash conversion cycle. Bakit kaya? Kasi hahaba rin yung average collection period o yung average age of receivables mo. Okay? So kapag mas mahaba yun, mas mahaba yung ating cash conversion cycle. Hence, it ties up more capital in receivables, which is costly. Okay? Ayan. Bakit ba costly yung ganito na setup? And kung naalala mo yung discussion natin sa cash conversion cycle, no? Di ba? Inassume doon na financed yung ating operations ng loans from the bank. Okay? Then, yung bank loans, syempre, may interest charges yan. Okay? So, yung interest na yan, magraran siya hanggat hindi mo nababayaran yung utang mo. Paano mo mababayaran yung utang mo kung yung capital mo ay nasa receivables? Okay? Ibig sabihin, kung hindi ka nakasisingil, paano ka makababayad ng utang mo? Yan. Kaya, sinasabi dyan na costly. Okay? Also, the longer receivable Also, the longer a receivable is outstanding, the higher the probability that the customer will default and that the account will end up as a bad debt. Okay? So, itong concept na to, alam mo na yan. Habang mas matagal bago mo makolekta, mas nagiging doubtful ka kung makokolekta mo pa ba ever yung receivable na yun. Okay? So, yan yung unang variable dito sa credit policy. Again, sabi kanina, no? Yung credit policy daw, key component o key determinant sa accounts receivable and sa sales. Okay? Yan yung unang variable sa credit policy, yung credit period. Okay? Next natin is itong discounts. Alam mo rin yan. Basahin natin. Discounts are price reductions given for early payment. The discount specifies what the percentage reduction is and how rapidly payment must be made to be eligible for the discount. For example, a 2% discount is often given if the customer pays within 10 days. So, ito yung nakikita mo kadalasan sa problems, no? 2-10 or 2/10. Okay? Tapos, yung credit period naman, yun yung net 30. Nakasunod kadalasan nitong 2-10 na sinasabi. Okay? 2-10, net 30. So, yan yung discounts and credit period. Yan. Offering discounts has two benefits. First, the discount amounts to a price reduction which stimulates sales. Okay? So, same effect dito kanina, no? Nung longer credit period, ayan, lengthening the credit period stimulates sales. So, dito rin, kapag may discount, nagkakaroon ng sales. Okay? Or nasi-stimulate yung sales. Second, discounts encourage customers to pay earlier than they otherwise would. Okay, bakit? Kasi nga, yung days na eligible lang tayo sa discount is limited. Okay, so sa example natin dito, 10 days lang pasok yung discount period. So, within 10 days, i-aim ng customers na magbayad para ma-avail itong discount na to. Okay? Kapag ganun, ano nangyayari sa cash conversion cycle? Umiigsi. Tama. Okay? Which shortens the cash conversion cycle. Bakit? Since yung formula nga ng cash conversion cycle is average age of inventory plus average age of receivables minus average age of payables. So, yung pangalawang component, which is average age of receivables, iigsi siya. Okay? Kapag mas maaga nagbabayad yung customers natin. Okay? Hindi na natin sinulat, no? Kasi nga, na-discuss na natin to previously. So, recap lang siya. Ayan. Tuloy natin, no? Yung pagbasa. However, discounts also mean lower prices. Malamang. Okay, yun nga mismo yung discount. So, kabawasan sa prices yan. Okay. Yan. And lower revenues unless the quantity sold increases by enough to offset the price reduction. Ibig sabihin, kapag nag-offer tayo ng discount, make sure natin na yung increase in sales na brought about by that discount will offset the price reduction. Okay? So, para makabawi tayo sa discounts, which is, in effect, lost revenue siya, di ba? Okay? So, balance dapat. Yan nga, ang sinabi dyan sa last sentence, no? The benefits and costs of discounts must be balanced when credit policy is being established. Okay. So, yan naman yung second variable dito sa credit policy. Discounts. Pangatlo, credit standards. Ito medyo hindi ko sure kung familiar sa iyo to. Ito kasing dalawang nauna, madalas mo yung nakikita sa problems, no? Sa FUNDAC, no? Sa financial accounting. Okay. So, itong credit standards, medyo bago. So, basahin natin. Which refer to the required financial strength of acceptable credit customers. Okay, required financial strength. Tuloy nga natin yung pagbasa. With regard to credit standards, factors considered for business customers include ratios, the customer's credit history, and the like. Okay, highlight lang natin tong the like. Okay, kapag business customers daw, yan yung mga kino-consider. Pag individual customers naman, credit score yung kino-consider. Pero ano ba tong credit standards na to? So imaginein mo na lang na meron kang kaibigan na nangungutang sa'yo. Okay? Papautangin mo ba kagad yung kaibigan mo na yon? Siyempre, kung matalino kang kaibigan, hindi basta-basta magpapautang yan. Okay, siyempre, i-consider mo muna kung previously ba nangutang na siya sa'yo at nakabayad ba siya dun sa utang na yon? O kaya may utang pa ba siya sa ibang mga tao, sa ibang pa naming mga kaibigan? At nakakabayad ba siya? So yung mga kinonsider mo na yon, yun yung tinatawag na credit standards mo. Okay? Ayan. So tinitingnan mo kasi yung kakayahan ng kaibigan mo na yon na magbayad sa pagkakautang niya. Okay, yun yung sinasabi dyan na the required financial strength of acceptable credit customers. Okay? So, bago mo pautangin, tingnan mo muna kung may kakayahan siya magbayad. Okay? Ayan. So, tuloy lang natin yung pagbasa. In both cases, the key question is the customer likely be willing and be able to make the required payment on schedule? Note that when standards are set too low, bad debt losses will be too high. On the other hand, when standards are set too high, the firm loses sales and thus profits. Okay? So, a balance must be struck between the cost and benefits of tighter credit standards. Okay, so binanggit lang dito no, yung effects ng ating credit standards. Sabi dyan, ayan, when standards are set too low, o kung medyo maluwag tayo sa pagpapautang, okay, bad debt losses will be too high. Okay, so negative yun. Siyempre, kapag nagbenta ka lagi on credit, tapos hindi mo kinonsider kung good payer ba yung customer mo. So, malamang magkaroon ka dyan ng bad debts. Okay? On the other hand, when standards are set too high naman daw, kapag masyado ka namang mahigpit sa pagpapautang o sa pagbebenta on credit, the firm loses sales. Okay? Ayan. So, kadalasan kasi, yung customers natin, no, gusto niya on credit yung purchases niya. Okay? So, kapag masyado ka mahigpit, malamang mabawasan din yung sales mo. Okay? Yan. So, kailangan balanse pa rin. Balance must be struck between the costs and benefits of tighter credit standards. Okay. So, kanina pa yan nababanggit, no? Yung balance ng benefit and cost, o yung cost-benefit principle. Yan. Yan yung pangatlong variable. Punta na tayo dito sa pang-apat, collection policy. Yan, self-explanatory naman, basahin natin. Refers to the procedures used to collect past due accounts, including the toughness or laxity used in the process. At one extreme, the firm might write a series of polite letters after a fairly long delay. At the other extreme, delinquent accounts may be turned over to a collection agency relatively quickly. Companies should be somewhat firm, but excessive pressure can lead customers whose business is profitable to take their business elsewhere. Again, a balance must be struck between the cost and benefit of different collection policies. So, lagi namang balanse dapat, no? Okay, so collection policy, self-explanatory naman yan, no? Ayan, kung masyado kang mahigpit or maluwag ka naman sa pagkolekta. Okay, so yan yung apat na variable dito sa credit policy. So may last paragraph lang dito. Basahin mo dyan. Firms generally publish their credit terms, defined as a statement of their credit period and discount policy. Okay? So, yan lang din yung sinabi dito. Statement of the credit period and discount policy. So, itong credit terms, familiar sa'yo yan, no? Okay, yan yung nakikita mo nga. Kadalasan. Sa financial accounting, o sa fundamentals of accounting mo na subject. So, itong credit terms, yan yung 210 net 30. Okay, yan yung mga yan. Which is yung credit period and discount. Itong item number 1 sa variable natin, credit period, tsaka yung number 2 which is discount. So, yan yung credit term. Okay? So, makikita mo sa credit term yung dalawa na yan. Credit period and discount policy. Itong dalawa, makikita mo ba sa credit term? Hindi. Ayan, sabi dyan. Credit standards and collection policies are relatively subjective. So, they are not generally discussed in the published credit terms. So, ang nakikita nga lang natin kadalasan dyan is itong discount period and yung rate ng discount tsaka yung credit period. Itong 30 days. Okay. So, easy lang naman siya, no? Self-explanatory. Karamihan. Okay. So, yeah, I suggest basahin mo yung libro para may sarili ka rin na understanding dito. Okay. Proceed na tayo. Yan. Setting and implementing the credit policy. Yan. Credit policy is important for 3 main reasons. First, it has a major effect on sales. Second, it influences the amount of funds tied up in receivables. Third, it affects bad debt losses. So, depende sa kung gaano ka-strict yung ating credit policy sa magiging effect niya dito sa tatlong ito. Okay? So, napag-usapan naman na natin kanina. Dito sa baba, may babanggitin lang dyan. No? Several organizations use computer-based networks to collect, store, and distribute credit information. So, ano ba itong credit information na to? Yan. Sa baba, may in-enumerate na items dyan. Yan daw yung pinoprovide ng Dun & Bradstreet. Okay? Over the internet. So, ito example lang ng credit information para lang may idea ka. Okay? So, basahin lang natin. 1, a summary balance sheet and income statement. Pangalawa, a number of key ratios with trend information. Then, data obtained from the firm suppliers telling whether it pays promptly or slowly and whether it has recently failed to make any payments. So, parang history, no? Okay. Fourth, a verbal description of the physical condition of the firm's operations. Fifth, a verbal description of the backgrounds of the firm's owners, including any previous bankruptcies, lawsuits, or divorce settlement problems. Sixth, a summary rating ranging from A for the best credit risk down to F for those firms that are deemed likely to default. So basically, ito yung mga information na tinitingnan, no, ng iba't ibang firms para sa kanilang credit standard. Okay. O sa buong credit policy nila. Ayan. So, basahin mo na lang to. Then, punta tayo dito sa credit scores. Ayan. So, basahin mo yung definition. Numerical scores that indicate the likelihood that people or businesses will pay on time. Okay. So, ayan na. Ayan na mismo yung definition niya. Numerical scores that are based on a statistical analysis and provide a summary assessment of the likelihood that a potential customer will default on a required payment. Ayan. So, dito may additional info na lang. Basahin mo if gusto mo. Okay. Tayo hindi na natin dadaanan to. Punta na tayo dito sa last part sa libro natin. Ayan. Monitoring accounts receivable. Dito, ipapakita lang sa'yo kung ano ba yung tool na pwede mong gamitin sa pag-monitor ng accounts receivable. So, makikita mo ulit dito yung formula ng DSO. Ayan. So, hindi mo na kailangan isulat sa index card mo kasi nasulat mo na yan dati. Ayan. Basahin mo lang yung paragraph. If management is not careful, the collection period will creep up as good customers take longer to pay and as sales are made to weaker customers who tend to pay slowly or not at all and thus create bad debts. So it is important to monitor receivables. One easy-to-use monitoring technique employs the DSO. Balik tayo dito kay Allied Food. Ayan, nakasulat dyan yung formula. DSO is equal to receivables over average sales per day. Pwede natin gamitin yung analysis natin na kagaya nung sa inventory. No? So, sulat natin yung alternative formula na ginagamit natin for DSO. DSO is equal to 365 over receivables turnover o accounts receivable turnover. So, para lang same yung natin analysis sa inventory management. Okay? Kasi yung inventory management, ganito rin yung ginamit natin na formula para sa analysis natin. So, yun na lang din gamitin natin dito. Okay? So, lagay mo na rin dito yung formula ng accounts receivable turnover. Tanda mo pa ba yan? Very good. So, kapag turnover, di ba, ang numerator natin is sales. Or, sa case natin, kasi nga, receivables to, mas maganda kung credit sales. Okay? Then, yung denominator ay receivables. Or average receivables. Okay. So, compare na rin natin, no? Pero na-compare na natin to dati. Gawin lang natin ulit. So, sales. Ano ba yung sales dyan na given? 3,000, no? Ayan. Annual sales is 3,000. So, kung di mo nakikita, ito. Ay, na-highlight lahat. Bakit ka ganyan? Okay. So, sales is 3,000 annual. Divide mo sa receivables, which is 375. Makakuha mo dyan, 8 na accounts receivable turnover. Then, gamitin mo siya sa formula mo ng DSO. 365 divided by 8. Makakuha mo dyan, 45.625. Yan din ba yung sagot dito? Ni Book. Ayan, pareho lang. 45.625. Okay, kaya lang ayaw ma-highlight. Ayun, na-highlight na siya. So, ano bang ibig sabihin nito? Day sales outstanding. So, di ba, nung inventory management natin na topic, nag-drawing tayo ng timeline. So, ganun din dito. I-try mong gawin yung same analysis. Okay. So, nasa na ba yan? Days sales outstanding natin is 45.625. Days. Okay, so, ang ibig sabihin lang yan, 45.625 days ang iniintay natin bago natin ma-collect yung ating receivable. Excuse me, nagdidighay ako. Ayan, so 45 days. Okay, so since yung turnover natin dito is 8 times, so hatiin natin yung timeline natin ng 8. Paano natin ito gagawin? Ayan. Para pantay. Sana pantay siya. Okay. 8 ba yan? 8 periods ba yan? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, 8. Tapos ito yung magre-represent ng buong taon. 365. Okay. Yung receivable turnover natin, itong segments na to. Okay. Yung 8 na yan. Okay. And then, yung mga araw na iniintay natin between these segments, yan yung day sales outstanding natin or DSO. Okay. So, 45.625 each. Okay. So, try mo, multiply 45.625, dapat yan ay 365. Okay, so para nang ma-visualize mo na 45 days yung iniintay natin bago natin ma-collect yung ating sales. Okay, then inanalyze dito, no? Nasaan na yan? Bakit ayaw mong sumunod sa akin? Yan. Industry average daw is 36 days. Okay. Ang sa atin ay 45.625. So, mas matagal tayo sa industry average. Okay. So, medyo based dito, no? Medyo hindi tayo hindi natin na ma-manage ng maayos yung ating receivables. So, dito, further analyze pa siya. If we multiply the DSO by the average daily sales, we determine the capital tied up in receivables. So, minultiply lang yung ating average daily sales na 8.2192. Saan nakuha tong 8.2192? Simply, 3,000 divided by 365. Ayan siya. Okay. Hindi kasi nasusulatan yung book natin eh. Pero sana nakita mo, ayan. 3,000 divided by 365. Try mo nga. Yan yung average daily sales. Minultiply siya sa day sales outstanding o yung 45.625 natin dito. Nakuha yung receivables na 375 million. So, medyo malaki siya. Okay. Ayan. Note that if Allied collected its receivables faster and reduced its DSO to the 36-day industry average, its receivables would decline to 295.89 million. Okay, try mo nga. I-substitute mo, no? Yung 8.2192 na average daily sales, multiply mo sa industry average na 36-day sales outstanding. So, tama naman. 295.89 million. Okay, so, yung average daw sa industry ay ganito. But yung sa atin is malaki. So, masyado siyang malaki compared sa ibang firms within the same industry. So, parang kailangan natin i-reconsider yung ating credit policies and yung iba pa nating policies related sa receivables. Okay. Isa pang pwede mong gawin dito is i-analyze mo, i-compare mo sa sarili mong credit terms. So, nagawa na natin to before. Kinompare yung day sales outstanding natin dun sa credit terms natin. Okay. So, dito nga sa given natin na company, si Allied, yung term natin is 30 days, no? Ayan. Highlight lang natin yung mga important. So, 30 days daw. Pero yung DSO kasi natin na na-compute is 45.625. Ayan. So, sabi dyan, obviously, some customers are paying late, so there's room for improvement in its collections, policy, and practices. Ayan. So, simple lang naman, no? Kasi familiar na sa'yo, nadaanan na natin yung formulas dito. Okay. So, hanggang dito lang muna yung discussion natin. Then, pupunta tayo dito sa accounts payable naman. Pero, ano tayo, no? Next meeting, ito pa rin yung topic pala natin. Try natin gumamit ng ibang author next meeting and mag-solve ng sample problems. Okay, so yun lang. Stop natin yung recording.